Hello, Trailblazers. What is going on? We're so great to see you today. My name is Santiago, and I'm your host.
And I'm Tiara, I'm your co-host.
And this is Miss Williams. Let's give a little snap.
Hi guys, thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Miss Williams, in case if you didn't know who she is our current principal here at Early College High School. As you know, being a dual enrollment kid isn't easy, but Miss Williams does everything she can in her everyday life to make sure that our life is easy, as well as our education, and she does everything she can to make sure that we grow up to be functional and amazing adults. So, she's great. Tiara, go ahead and share a little bit about yourself.
So, I'm Tiara. I'm currently a junior at Early College High School. I play lacrosse at my base school, which is Myrtle Beach. And I really enjoy coming here. I don't regret it one bit, whatever.
And I'm Santiago. I'm also a current junior here at Early College High School. I'm really ambitious. I love intelligence. I love neuroscience. I just love learning in general, and I love talking, hence the podcast.
And you do so well at it too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, Miss Williams, we're going to get into your background of Early College. So, how did you hear about Early College? And what made you decide to come here?
Well, this is not my first time at Early College. Actually, I was a teacher, and so I first came to Early College in 2009. Before I came in 2009, I was a middle school teacher, and I'd heard about this amazing program where students could come to Horry Georgetown Tech and get a high school diploma while earning college hours. So when I taught 8th grade social studies, shout out to the social studies teachers, I used to push this program. I loved it. I loved what it had to offer. And so I would always talk to my students, and I was always help them get ready, and I would help them with their application. And so then I'd always wanted to go to high school, and I decided to put my name on the transfer list. And it was a Friday, and I'd gotten a phone call after hours from a lady named Joan Grimmett. And she said, I noticed your name is on the transfer list, and I'd love to talk with you. And she said, and by the way, I'm the principal of Early College High School. Can you meet with me? And so I met with her one day after school. I came over. At that time, the current building we're in didn't exist. Mm-hmm. It was building 100, 200. That was the school.
Right.
And I went over and I met with her. I didn't even know that when I sat down and talked with her, that was my job interview. It was so casual. It was just more or less, she was just tapping into my passions. She knew that I loved teaching. I love working with kids. I love helping kids figure out what to do next. And before I know it, I had a job. Wow. So I came to Early College and I taught AVID, 9th grade AVID, and government and economics. I got that job because I said to her, who puts kids in government and economics? What they've had in high school. And so not knowing she's the one that did that, my schedule that year was government and economics along with 9th grade AVID. And that is how I came to Early College.
That is amazing. Okay, so my next question first, what makes us different? What do you think makes us different from other schools?
Oh gosh, that's an amazing question, awesome question. I think what makes us different is that it's a choice, and that's a big deal. We go to school at, when we're 5 years old. We start kindergarten, and then we kind of move up through the ranks. And we go to school based on kind of where we live. If you live in the Conway area, depending on where you live, this is going to be your elementary school, and this will be your middle school. And it's just no bones about it. That's where you're going to go. And then if you do that middle school, then the next step is to go to that high school. Again, no bones about it. But then Horry County Schools just started offering all these amazing options for students at the secondary level. And I think it's a really big deal when you get to decide what do you want to do with your next 4 years. Because we all know we're going to get a high school diploma. We know that's the goal of high school, is to get us a high school diploma so we can work on the next steps. But being able to choose how you want to get your high school diploma and where you want to get your high school diploma sets you up. And then I also think what makes us even more special is that we can only hold 400 students. There were 50,000 students in this district. Every year over 300 kids apply, and we only choose about 100 per year. So to know that you are the chosen few makes an amazing difference. And so when you see students walking this building, you know that they are here because they want to be. Everybody got a different story though. When you talk to some students, they're here because a teacher told them to come, a counselor told them to come, a parent told them to come, sometimes an older sibling told them to come, or even some friends or neighbors. And every now and then when you really get to talk to them, some of them will say, well, I wanted to do something different. But no matter how they got here, it was still choice, because nobody can make you submit that application.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how it was for me. Like, I was hesitant at first because I knew, like, I didn't really know much about it, but I knew, like, my other school, my base high school, and I was going to be in. This was, like, kind of like the first time I heard about early college.
Yeah, I was struggling with that application.
I'm glad both of you girls came. It's been amazing to watch how much you've blossomed over well, not quite a third year yet, because we're just getting started, but to see you blossom over these 2 years. When I was a middle school teacher, I often would wonder what happened to my kids. A lot of them would come back and visit me, and they would let me know how they were doing, or sometimes I get an email from them. But when you teach middle school, a lot of times they get busy after they get to high school. They get busy with jobs and just extracurricular activities, so you don't always see what happens. But it is just so, to me, so amazing to be on this 4-year journey with students, to see you come from middle school and come for all your different reasons, but then to see some of you come into your own. Like, I love watching some students who come into this building, not quite sure they want to be here. And we do have some kids that say, oh gosh, I don't know if I want to be here, I want to leave, I want to go back. And then to see them say, well, I don't have any friends. Because when you come over here, you are leaving behind, all those years of, excuse me, what you've known to be comfort. And then you're literally blazing a new trail. So when you come over here, those are, sometimes can be some reasons why kids kind of not so sure if they're going to make it. And then to watch them stay a year and decide, yeah, this is where I belong. I've made the right decision. And they've come into their own. And so I like that part of being a high school administrator. I get to see almost the finished product.
Yeah. Okay, so do you feel like the bond between yourself, the students, and the staff here is like a very strong bond, or?
I think when you talk to students about early college, they will tell you one of their favorite things is that they'll mention some activities and stuff. They'll mention maybe a class here or there, but if you listen to them talk, they're always talking about things they did with the teacher, or things they did in advisory, or things they did in AVID, or even in some of their different classes. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen at other schools, but I think because we're so small, teachers are able to really get to know you. Because you're talking about, in most of our classes, there's a ratio of 1 to like 16 or 1 to 18. And in some of the larger high schools, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Many teachers in the attendance area high schools have as many as 30 or more kids in a class. So it's harder sometimes to build those connections. And I think because we're so small, teachers are really able to build connections. I'm in a different position because I am also principal, but then I also have to sometimes be the administrator that has to like give you a consequence. And so the relationships that I get to be a little bit different than what you get with the teachers. Because the teachers get to see you in one way, and then I get to see you in another. Like, for instance, I'll call for students to come to my office. Sometimes I just want to ask you something, and they're breathing hard. And they're like, what did I do? And I was like, well, I just called for you. And they would say, you know how scary it is to come to the principal's office? And I don't think about how that must feel, because when you think about it, we don't have the kind of school where you're having those discipline issues. Think about it, we don't even have an ISS. So that speaks volumes for the character of our students.
Speaking of like the relationships between you being a principal different than a teacher's, what are some hardships that you deal with as being a principal?
Oh my goodness. do we have time? No, it's very different. Teachers have the luxury of dealing with what's inside their classroom, what's involving their students like immediately in their room, whereas my responsibility is the entire school, where your teacher is only concerned with, in that moment, maybe 18 students. I am concerned with 360. And so for me, I worry about if our bus is gonna get you here on time. Are they gonna get you here in time enough for you to be able to grab a quick bite to eat before you head off either to a college class or a high school class? Making sure the buses pick you back up so that you can get to the attendance area school to go home. Making sure that you have your resources for your classes, whether it's a college class or a high school class, and making sure you feel safe when you leave out our building and walk across campus to whatever college class that you have. And so those are just a few things, and then also funding. I worry about that because I want you to be able to have experiences, and then those things cost, because we don't have sports like the attendance area high schools, and we all know no matter how you feel about sports, they generate revenue. So we don't have that revenue source. So being able to find a way to pay for the things that I want, like for instance, I really want our students to have experiences of going on college trips. And I would love for us to be able to do some of the big trips that require you to stay overnight. But those trips require money, and then also those trips require you to miss class. In the high school world, I can control how you miss classes, but I can't control how you start missing college classes. So we have a few challenges that other schools don't have because you literally dabble your feet in two worlds. You have an Horry County School world on the high school side, but then you have an Horry Georgetown Tech world. And you have to navigate both those worlds with classes, attendance, and just, making all that work. So for me, it's just a lot more I worry about. Like I even worry whether or not if the oven in the cafeteria isn't working. I have to worry about that because that means it's gonna delay lunch or delay what type of lunch we can give you. Or if we send you on a field trip, I have to coordinate with the cafe team to make sure you have water, you have snacks, or if we're gonna do a bag lunch, or making sure the cafe team can stay a little longer to be able to provide you with a lunch when you get back. So those are some of the things that I worry about, but the things I worry about